Welcome to Agility Lab. My name is Morten Elvang, and in Agility Lab, we have been running a bit of a campaign looking at the state of Agile, looking at Agile for small enterprise organizations. But we also wanted to have a look at the PI planning and the big room planning, and just take a spot check on how is it going with this highly iconic practice for the scaled Agile world. So Maarit, it's a real pleasure to have you here today. I think of all the people I know, you are probably the one, I guess, who has most of the history and background on how the scaled Agile framework went about this practice, and also how it developed in our own former employer, Nokia, etc. So a lot of history in one package. So really looking forward to hear what you brought for us, and looking forward to the conversation afterwards. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So what I know about the history of the PI planning, actually, it's based on big room planning. And do you know, kind of like a trick question first, do you know what's the difference between big room planning and PI planning? The big difference is PI objectives. So Di Leffingwell added the PI objectives to big room planning to make it PI planning. And it's the original work is based on this Agile coach, a lady who has written this book about Agile collaboration and who worked with Raleigh back then. And it was first introduced at Telstra. So I know that from M. Campbell Pretty, who was one of the very first SPCs, SPCTs, and say fellow. So I've been discussing with her about the background. And yes, we actually introduced it also in Nokia. First, it was applied in S60 platform, where N8 was then based on. The phone N8 was the first one to come out from using that platform. And we used it slightly differently because the organization was a lot bigger. So let me share my screen. So this is my presentation. So trends in PI planning, that's the topic of today. And a little bit about me. So I worked for Nokia for 20 years. I have been in really many positions, from software development to project management to line management to leading the Agile transformation. I did my Ph.D. over 10 years about Agile in scale while I was working for Nokia. And it's the world first dissertation on Agile at scale. And I'm a SAFE Fellow and SPCT, and also nominated as one of the 100 women in Agile and Lean who has contributed most to Lean and Agile. And these are the latest 3 white papers that I have written, and all my research is available at via ResearchGate if you're interested in that. So first, I would like to ask you about your experiences on how the PI planning is changing. So please take this Mentimeter, and it should be open. So let me switch to Mentimeter. So here actually I need to start our presentation again, and then if you are in, let me know if you are in. I can go to next slide. So there is a question: what has happened to your PI plannings? No longer PI planning, only online planning, multi-site, but present, which is the traditional way of doing it, or then hybrid, online and present. So we have 6 persons, 7 persons, 3 have answered. Let's wait until everyone answers. 2 on hybrid setting, and 3 are no longer doing PI planning. That's quite interesting. Let's wait until we have all the answers here. Two more, please hurry up. One more. Multi-site present. Can we get to one more person in? We give you a little bit time, and then if you are not there, we will kind of move on to the next question. Who is missing? Okay, let's take the next slide. So, and what has happened to the increment length? So has it got shorter, remained the same, or got longer? What is kind of your answer? Okay, 3 persons answered, no difference. So we have all the answers here. Let's see if you are answering the typical way. Okay, remained the same. Is now leading. And we have 4 out of 7, so waiting for other answers.
Maarit, should I answer if I'm not doing the PI planning anymore?
Okay, right. So we had 2 who were not doing the PI planning at all. So yes, please do not answer if you are not doing PI planning anymore. So let's move on. So this is what our group is saying. So what is actually the current trend? Is that after COVID, the hybrid and the virtual first PI events are now becoming a mainstream. So really, the traveling has not returned exactly what it was before the COVID. So before COVID, if you remember, companies were saying that people were traveling even to a single meeting. But now companies are more savvy on how they use their traveling money. And also these tools were getting a boost because of COVID, like Jira and Miro have now an integration. And also Miro has a template for PR planning. And even Lucidchart is supporting big room planning. So if you look Lucidchart, you can see that it has a lot of guidance material for big room planning. And so this is actually changing the equation that this is more typically happening that you may have kind of like if you're starting a new train, you may have people in one side, but then they are more working on this hybrid setting. So people who are on the same side are meeting on that same side, and maybe you fly a few people over every now and then. And then what is also happening is that we are actually getting into more shorter or more frequent planning. And what is kind of like the reason behind is the use of the AI, and also the fact that some organizations, they started with the 3-month PI length, and they might kind of see that that's simply too long, like too much change is happening during the 3-month PI. And they need to kind of go faster. And I think those organizations who are abandoning the PI planning in total, they are maybe more on the cloud-based development. So this might be the reason that they kind of like have more isolated teams, and they are kind of like they have been working on the dependencies so that they don't see that much benefit from managing the dependencies and the communication as what has happened before. And then there is this asynchronous planning and pre-work that is reducing the event time. So this is also one thing that I have heard from organizations that they still have PI planning, but instead of 2 days, they have reduced it into 1 day, and they are kind of trying to use that time more efficiently, kind of making more preparation. This is especially true for organizations that are using a lot of subcontracting. So usually the subcontractors may not be so open to discuss all the problems while in PR planning. So it's more like just doing the planning and agreeing what is delivered and when, and then it's up to the subcontractor a little bit like how they are going to do the catch-up game to be able to deliver at a time when they are promising. Also, if we look more of the trends is more relying on tooling. So tooling is becoming the single source of truth. So I also hear that some of the organizations, they are abandoning these mirrors and murals or other kind of visual tools, or especially kind of planning on the wall, but they are more relying planning directly in Jira or a like tool, and especially if they are using Jira. So a lot of the clients are still using Jira, so they are relying on this kind of visual representation that is supported by these tools. And also other tools, they are supporting this kind of like a dependency graphs. So this is kind of like what is typically used, or some sort of like a Kanban view on what is kind of happening. And then the use of the AI is happening. So AI and automation will support prioritization, risk detection, and capacity forecasting. Also to the extent that some of the process steps may be kind of like optimized with the use of the AI or automated with the use of the AI. And then organizations also have taken OKRs, objectives and key results, into use. And this is actually driving also heavily on what is happening. So these OKRs are driving what is happening. And this is kind of this has a link to what Scale Agile is doing. So Scale Agile is actually going back to the basics and more like polishing and going to the roots and trying to simplify the framework, and but also kind of taking OKRs as part of the framework. So how OKRs and safe practices work together. So that's kind of like getting stronger. And then more emphasis is happening on cadence and flow versus large batch handoffs. And that's very typical when those organizations that have done a good transformation. So now we are in a situation that quite many organizations, they have started with safe transformations. Some have been really, really successful. Some were not so successful, and they have maybe abandoned safe. But these who were successful and who are kind of able to do the continuous improvement, they are more and more focusing on flow. And this is also supported by the strong continuous delivery, CI and DevOps practices. So if we see kind of the DevOps metrics, this is a strong trend. What is happening there? Any comments at this point from the audience? Does this seem like something you anticipated as a result? Yeah, I see some nodding. And I would like to kind of go further with some recommendations, and then I would like to study these underlying patterns, especially the AI pattern that is underlying. So if you look about the recommendations, so create a consistent pre-work templates. So that you can rely before the PI event. So if you haven't done a set of templates before this, so this is definitely worth of doing. It's saving a lot of time to use a standard templates, and then standardize these digital program boards and make it a single source of truth. And especially if you are using kind of this, for example, this Miro and Jira combination, for example, with the integration that is supported. So make sure that that's working. And then this pilot these shorter cadences and compare this cycle time and see if that is actually helping, because this is happening like when more and more organizations are relying on remote work and hybrid work. People need this information, what to work on, so that they have this alignment. And I think that's the single biggest reason why the PR planning and big room planning are prevailing, that this alignment is needed, because it enables people to work independently then on the topics they have been choosing. And then try to get an AI pilot, so that you can kind of work on some small things to optimize maybe some back office processes, and kind of have, however, a human review on these. So So think about what kind of AI pilot you could run and what you could kind of test. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the future of the PI planning. And this is the point where I kind of like abandon a little bit kind of what's the fact that we know. And I kind of want to a little bit look to the future and make some predictions for the future. So AI is impacting software development. That's a fact, and we know that. And we are talking now from writing to code to orchestrating agents. So a lot of transformation is happening with the AI tools. So we have just started to get the generative AI tools, the large language models into use, like Cloud and Copilot and ChatGPT. And these are kind of able to create code, and it's accelerating coding and productivity. So a typical use case is that people who are in development positions, they are asking the generative tools to create a small amounts of code for themselves, or they are asking to debug a part of the code. So these tools can be used for enhancing testing and debugging. But also we are getting a more efficient software lifecycle. So we see these integrated workflows, for example, Azure and Amazon are providing this. Amazon Web Services are providing these integrated workflows from the backlog tools to the continuous delivery to the DevOps. And if you think about what is happening with DevOps, so there is also an AI Ops coming. And what is an AI Ops? It's a DevOps where the operations is kind of done with the use of the AI. So the operations part is automated with the use of the AI. So that's AI Ops. And so development and AI in operations is happening in seamlessly. It means that in operations you have typically these different monitoring systems where you see if your service is up and live, and in AI Ops you can kind of like automate part of these checks, and maybe you can automate part of the kind of if there is an error happening, then you need to do a set of steps where you kind of like try to recover. So some of these recovery steps can be also automated. And there is a lot of research available on this, how much productivity these AI tools are providing. So if we compare it to kind of what was said about SAFe, so SAFe was bringing roughly 40% of productivity increase. And these are providing kind of these generative AI tools are providing the 30 up to 60% of productivity improvement depending on how you are using it. But that's kind of not the whole story of the AI. So we are now seeing these AI agents. And what is kind of difference to the agents compared to this Gen AI is that the agents are active and they have memory. So generative AI is working on the data that is stored. So they are taught with the data, and so it's always digging in the history data that it's been trained with. Whereas the AI agents are active and they can look for new data, for example, from the internet, and or look for new documents and they also have a memory. So generative AI is forgetting if you ask them one question, you ask again, they don't necessarily remember unless you ask them. So nowadays you can also ask them to remember stuff for you. But the AI agents, they are kind of like actively remembering things. And the good agents typically have they are operating in a very narrow area. And so you are actually, the most efficient way is to create a lot of these agents. And of course, the AI makes different hallucinations and different errors. So what is the human's role here is to supervise how this AI is working and validate if the answers that they are giving or the actions that they are doing are correct. And also the AI agents need to be retrained So whenever there is a new information, we need to retrain some of these tools. So developers may shift from tasks to agent farms, allowing more strategic thinking. So more time for strategic thinking than in the future. And also one new fad is this vibe coding that is coming from Gene Kim. And who is Gene Kim? You may remember him from the Phoenix project, the author of the Phoenix project, or the author of the DevOps handbook. So he's one of the 3 persons who were behind the DevOps movement. And this is his newest book, just published, Vibe Coding. And it's an AI augmented way of writing software, and where developers are focusing on intent flow and the outcomes. And you just kind of like give a guidelines on AI, what type of code you would like to have, and then you kind of the AI provides the code for you. So developers describe what they want and the intent constraints and desired behavior, and they kind of are the creative part, and the AI is the producer and refiner. And then also you can ask AI to be critical and validate for errors. So this, however, the vibe coding currently, many developers, they kind of like are a little bit skeptic towards it. So time will tell how much it will be adopted, or if it's not adopted, especially in areas that require high security. I see that there people are more skeptical. Lies, please go ahead. You have your hand up, so please.
Yeah, just a quick question. This vibe coding, is that currently at the prototype level, or where would you put it or categorize it?
I would say that it's.
I mean, doing prototype. The tool is of course not a prototype, but
Right.
would people be doing prototyping with it? Sorry.
I would say that it's more like you know, when you are going to buy a new car and you say that you are kind of kicking the wheels. So I think the vibe coding is kicking on the wheels. So not even kind of systematically creating the prototypes with it, but I see when I talk with the developers, they are more like thinking and a little bit skeptical and wondering if that's something that is going to come or not. And kind of like trying it out, but really being, it's so different to the past way of working that they are a little bit skeptical to it. So it's just very new. But I think that might be a good idea to try it out, creating a prototype with it. Yeah. Okay, so how AI can help, and here are some things. So I was wondering if you could go in that same Mentimeter and ask you if you are actually using any of these. So let me start this presentation again. What's wrong? Okay, interesting. It doesn't take my. I need to stop sharing, and then I need to start the presentation, and maybe still, no, there's something wrong. Yeah. Now start presentation, and then go to Zoom and share again, just a sec.
It's up now. It's working.
It's up now, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason I can't see it myself. Yes, here. So try now to say streamline backlog management, story drafting. So this is a feature provided by Jira AI, for example.
Is
Market
that something
insights.
can you enable multiple choice? I think you want us to select many options, but you can just select one.
You can just select one. Okay, that's a bummer. So let me see what's wrong with this one.
It's because it's radio button.
Multiple options is there.
Yes,
I'm
there.
pointing for you on my screen.
Yes.
Yeah,
There
now
you
it's changed.
Okay, good. Thanks for notifying.
Online
Now that you
debugging
are
faster than
counting our
ChatGPT.
Now that you are counting our replies, I'm missing none of those.
Right.
So just so you know,
Yeah.
I don't vote for any of those.
Enhancing visualization. That's what I did with this presentation. Enhanced reporting, data analytics, very typical way of using AI. Scheduling meetings. We have tools like Calendar, for example, routine tasks, meeting notes, yes, market insights, story drafting. So this is really interesting. So meeting notes, definitely number 5. So a kind of like a leader, and then story drafting 3, data analytics 3, enhanced reporting 3, and enhanced visualization 3, scheduling meetings less, routine tasks less, market insights less, and backlog management only 1. Okay, that's fairly interesting. So we are actually adopting these tools quickly, and this is also true. What is kind of the current state in the organizations is that these tools are adopted as most organizations, they have some sort of AI pilot, and it's up to individuals, and they may use kind of like a weekly or even daily these tools, but it's mostly kind of individual work with the AI, and yes, we are using this for our benefit. And then if you think about how AI is impacting Scrum Masters or PO's work, so there was one Scrum Master who asked me, like, is the AI going to take my work away? Like, can we automate all of that? And my reply was that, hey, if you think about the Scrum Master's work, it uses all these human qualities rather than what is easily automatable things. So Scrum Masters typically they have this like a emotional intelligence, and they are good of dealing with the people, and these skills are in higher demand. So in fact, there is an MIT study where they have kind of created this instrument called epoch. What are the human traits that are needed in the that AI human skills that are needed that AI cannot replace, and this epoch skills are kind of on higher needs. They have studied this is a longitudinal study, so they are doing it annually, and kind of they have studied the job ads, and they have noticed that kind of these repetitive tasks or repetitive jobs are going away. Those are automated away, and these jobs that have more of or require more of these epoch skills, so human communication and kind of making decisions with invalid data, or making kind of decisions when there is no data available, or leadership skills, these are on rise. So AI won't take the Scrum Masters or product owners' work away, so it's just kind of augment the capabilities. Automate repetitive tasks, enhance decision quality, let humans focus on strategic work. And if you're interested, there is a nice guide by Agile Alliance, AI-powered Scrum guide, and that's talking about the Scrum Masters' work, the product owners' work, and the developers' work, how these are kind of like changing in the future. So that might be a good source to read, for example. So if you think about how Scrum is changing in general, what we see is because when we study these teams that are using the AI tools, they are going into shorter sprint cycles. So iterations are speeding up, so even to the hour or daily rhythm. So I was in Agile Tampere, and there was a presentation from one AI company, and they were talking about 1 hour sprints. So that was quite fast, and they actually demonstrated this how fast the development was with the tools. It was amazing. So AI delivering drafts in hours rather than weeks. The product owners, Scrum Masters move towards orchestrating the work and curating the work, and developers are guiding and reviewing the AI output. And then these role boundaries are blurring because anyone can test and generate code and content with the AI. And if you look processes, the backlog refinement becomes much faster, and team artifacts are expand. So we want to put these AI tools also in the version control, and it needs to be version controlled. And then the mindset is kind of like a sense making is kind of the skill that we need a lot. So what really makes sense and what doesn't make sense, what is a hallucination. And AI can quickly provide more options, so we need to also make a judgment, and expertise is guiding this AI rather than doing things alone. And it also has an impact on the leadership level. So when there is now, world is full of different opportunities, so we need the leadership to say, okay, what is our AI strategy, and where do we actually go with these AI tools? What all of the potential pursuits that the company can go to, what all the routes we need to walk, where we actually want to go. And then the success is depending on this clarity and speed on making the choices. And then we need to also balance this rapid change with the sense of stability, because this is creating a lot of insecurity in people, this transformation. People are really afraid of losing their jobs. So there is this fear of becoming obsolete and FOMO. And this is kind of like there is a study that from those people who are using these generative AI tools, almost 50%, so it was 49% of the people are afraid that the AI will replace them in the future. And there is a rise from 21% from the past. And we need to build this job security and kind of upskill and reskill people. So build this transparency. We need to build a transparency how we are using AI, and if we are using AI when we are doing the work. We need to be clear on the ethical guardrails. For example, if we are using AI to sort out the CVs of the applicants to the organization, we need to make sure that AI is trained with unbiased data, so that it doesn't just hire men and ignoring all the women applicants or something like that. And reskilling means we are teaching people new skills, and upskilling means we are training these new skills to the people and enforcing kind of the already existing skills. And then this organizational design, so we must unlock these workflows and operating models, and kind of get from these AI pilots to the whole organization usage of the AI. And we must also monitor all the risks, like the risk of losing our data or leaking the data, or just making the wrong decisions with the AI usage, and build these clear frameworks and explainability and bias management. So Harvard Business School has published this cybernetic teammate research. This is also a longitudinal study, and they have been doing the study at Protector and Campbell, and studying 776 professionals there. And here a team means a two-person team or larger, and they are studying kind of individuals or teams working with the AI. And I just want to kind of take one aspect of this study here. So there is actually a lot of different results in this. I highly recommend that you read this study, but I think this is very interesting. So the benchmark is individual performance without the AI, so that's the 0 level. And then we see that the team without AI is performing better. So this is what we have said in Agile a long time ago. Teams are far more efficient than individuals on working. But then we see that the individual with the AI in this one, this is kind of like a normal work is actually having higher results than team. However, if we had a quality here, the situation changes. So teams are able to provide better quality than individuals with AI. So teams are maybe better in spotting the faulty answers than individuals tend to rely too much on the answers that the AI is giving to them. And then if we look kind of what is far best is the teams with the AI. So this is something that we need to kind of understand and bring forward in our future. So how these AI technologies are used currently. So we can talk about robotic process automation. So that's, for example, using Zapier integration to integrate two of the tools together. Or we can talk about machine learning. And an example is kind of like for example, an X-ray that you can teach this model how to interpret if the X-ray has a cancer or not. And the doctors can use this for the benefit to know if there is a cancer present in the X-ray or not. And then there is these large language models where we talk about the generative AI, which are kind of able to build this model and respond in normal language. And why these are hallucinating is actually an inherent capability that these models are able to learn. So these hallucinations are actually coming because of the learning. And then these AI agents, when we talk about AI agents, they are combining all of these previous ways of using the AI. And now if you look about these future operating models, so what is now happening is that if this is kind of like our process today, and we optimize part of it in AI, that may be one way of dealing with the AI. But we know also the Goldratt's theory on bottlenecks and so on. So happened in one organization that one team was optimizing their work, and they got rewarded by the upper management for that. But what actually happened was that they were just generating more work to the next team, and yet what is the theory of the goal is that the output is not increasing because the bottleneck is the dictating how much throughput there is. So this way we need to think about the whole value streams in the future and think about where and how we are optimizing these value streams. Also, this kind of theory isn't going anywhere. It's still existing. But we can also think about how we can kind of like redesign the processes with AI native. So if you look kind of where we are, we can talk about the waterfall era, where the success measure has been the output, and that it's been a linear process, and the bottleneck has been how much can we deliver. And the agile process, where the success measure is the outcome, and it's iterative, and the bottleneck is what is our capacity. So that's what we measure with the working process limits or with the story points, our velocity. And when we move to AI era, it's more like continuous, almost like a discussion type of thing, and very fast-paced. And the success is kind of the impact that we make, and the work rhythm is really becoming this conversational. And the bottleneck is the leadership. So what all things can we imagine, and where do we lead this organization to? So we need this guidance. What is the direction that we need to head? And kind of thinking about this, why it is this way. So for example, this ML ops, so that's machine learning ops. So this is another version of the DevOps. Kind of what is ML ops is that machine learning, you need to train this model, but over time, there is a new data, and this model needs to be retrained. And also this model can be biased if it's learning from whatever you ask from it. it can be biased by the questions, what you ask from it, if it takes that in as a learning. And so you need to kind of continuously develop this. It's not that you develop once this model and then it works forever. It's not like that, but you kind of like need to monitor continuously what is the quality of the output, and you need to retrain this model continuously. And that's kind of a reason why agile methods are becoming kind of like a baseline for all the future AI usage. So you can't become an AI organization or AI augmented organization without being agile. So agile is a precondition, and that's because in agile we have these iterative learning loops, and those work together with the AI nicely. And kind of like one process that can be used here is the mob AI. And now how this mob AI is coming. So this is actually based on Joe Justice's experiences from Tesla and SpaceX and other companies, and it's now widely used in around the world. And as WikiAgile we have registered this, but it's available for everyone with the CC BY SA license. So you can even create your own variant. You just need to kind of give the credit that this original idea is coming from Joe Justice. And how this is working is that you work in a short cycles, and you have the team plus the AI together. And this is based on the mob programming idea, where you have these roles of driver, navigator, and the team. And you rotate these roles in a short cycles. So when we've been teaching this method, we've been using 7-minute cycles, but it's up to the team what is the cycle length. And usually we change the roles when there is a feeling of accomplishment. And these roles are actually coming like, if you think about, you take a taxi, so you have a taxi driver. So the taxi driver doesn't dictate where to drive, but the navigator, so the customer gives the guidance. And then like everyone can give instructions, but the navigator is kind of making a decision. If there is like 7 different instructions, then we need to kind of decide which way to go, then the navigator will choose. And the kind of the idea is that in mob programming, that there is a very short cycle from the flip chart to the code. So someone is working on the flip chart, innovating how we can solve a problem, while other person is just implementing it. And the implementer is not really doing the thinking work so much, but just the implementation. And this is the same idea here, so that we try together and we quickly do these things. So here is a short video how it works in practice. So we've been using this. We use these small programmable robots, and they are programmed with Python, and we have our own AI agent, where you can ask the AI agent to write a Python code that runs these robots. And the task is that we have a labyrinth, and the task is to go through the labyrinth, and this is how it looks like.
Oh, it's working.
Okay. So this is also in use in Sweden, for example, this method, and in Toyota now, and in Mercedes-Benz, and in Hunter, and a lot of other companies. So it's spreading. So Liza, please go ahead.
Yeah, it seems to me that it is mob programming, but what was the difference? Did you mention that?
So the
If I
AI,
reference,
mob programming is not talking about the AI. So here we have the AI component embedded. And the version that Tesla is using is called RoboMob. I maybe have a slide about that later on. It's a variant. Yes. Morten, please go ahead.
A small time check. Will we still have a
Yes.
few minutes in the end for
Yeah, I know.
discussing?
So if we have just a single team, of course, the single team can do the entire product with the use of the AI. But kind of the idea in PI planning is this agile support this agile release train, where several teams need to work together. And this is like kind of a question like, what kind of future do we have when we have multiple teams that are working together? And here kind of like another trend that is happening is that work is more and more going in continuous mode, and it's more and more going also into asynchronous mode. And when we combine it, we kind of like have this vision. So this is a vision that I built with Joe Justice, like what the future could be like. And this is kind of like cadence-free, where we identify these value streams and you get these release drops every now and then independently from the value streams. And it's all guided by the portfolio level. And this is kind of the Tesla RoboMob where Mob AI is based on. So, for example, there is a person who is doing a prototype. At the same time, another person is programming a robot so that that prototype can be created automatically. Another person is putting it in the system, and then there is also testing happening at the same time. So, 4-person team doing everything in just 3 hours. And this is kind of innovation in a very, very fast pace. This is also what we have noticed when we have been teaching this Mob AI, is that it is really enhancing the innovation. And as we kind of like combine it with the AI challenge that organizations have, how to take these AI agents into use, is that kind of one of the idea of the MIT is that there is kind of, especially in Europe, we have this challenge of a lot of people going to retirement in a short time frame, and how can we capture that tacit knowledge that they have? So we can have this person with a lot of knowledge and another person in a Mob AI team who is teaching this AI, and another person who is asking from this senior person about all the knowledge and putting it in the AI. And that might be one way of using this. And then it's all guided by this kind of like a dashboards where we see where we are and where we are going to. So if you're interested, there is this paper that I wrote together about this future. So it's based on my experiences on getting very fast in Nokia, with this way of working, combined with the Joe's ideas on working with this AI native companies. So this is our best guess what the future could be. So for your benefit, if you like. And that's it. So let's keep talking. So finished on time, Morten. And
Thanks a
still we
lot,
have
Maarit.
10 minutes for questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, comments.
I have a comment or a question, which has my own view embedded into it. But do you think we will still continue to talk about planning? Is that even necessary in the
Yes,
future way of collaborating?
I think when we were in this super fast mode, we had different levels of planning. So teams were planning daily, and cross team we were planning weekly, and then there was also monthly planning that was kind of related to the road mapping and kind of this almost like portfolio level. So just tighter cycles. And I think organizations need to make estimates for the future and kind of these bigger roadmaps and what they're going to deliver. And I think this is especially important if you're building something very physical. Also, kind of you need to look at the technology trends and how technologies are developing and what that is impacting in your product development or service development, and make these kind of like a higher level plans. So you need these different levels still.
Go ahead, Stefan.
I was just thinking, is something happening with the team composition and how teams are working together?
Yes.
larger rotation between teams too, or?
Yes, thank you. So the mob AI teams actually typically they are smaller than traditional Scrum teams. So if we have a traditional Scrum team, we have something like 5 to 10 persons. We tend to have kind of like 3, 4, or 5 persons in the mob AI team. So significantly smaller teams. I don't know why, but it seems that for me it seems like it's maybe related to that the more persons you have in team, you need to sync with all of those, and as you go with these title cycles, you just it eases up the syncing somehow when you are going to smaller teams. What was the other part of your question? Sorry.
I don't remember any longer. I know, are people moving around in teams more, or are there more changes in team composition? So
Yes, that's also true that there is more changes on the team composition. So you don't have to stay in mobbing all the time. So you can just enter to the mobbing state, and then you can kind of work alone for some time if you like, and then you can come back and you can also freely change where you are working at. So this is how Tesla is actually working. So you can decide yourself which team you want to work today, and where you want to go. And typically you go and you work on the bottleneck. So you want to improve the bottleneck or improve some aspect of the
So
product.
is the company encouraging this rotating to be more competent in some way? Yeah.
Yeah, so there isn't kind of like a fixed lines or anything fixed. So
Okay.
and really it's encouraged by this making the bottlenecks visible. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this flexibility is going to come more, and really like what is happening in Tesla is that you have a WhatsApp and you can try to hire your colleagues using WhatsApp. You can ask them to join you in the challenge that you are working at. That's interesting.
Especially if you will be alone afterwards. No.
Yeah. So why I talk about Tesla is I think they are an extreme example of one way of applying AI methods, and I think it's really interesting. And however, I don't think that all the companies will become Tesla in the future. I think the companies will find, like they have find different ways of becoming agile. They will find different way of becoming AI empowered companies. But it's a current existing example and very interesting, I think.
Okay, I have a rather philosophical question. I'm thinking, do you guys ever discuss the issue of unlearning with all this AI and all this bullshit that is also inevitable? So whenever something we have taught those AI agents or whatever they are is simply bullshit. Do we need to unlearn something, or is that question just simply obsolete?
What kind of things do you think
All sorts of wrong stuff that we feed into these, whatever they are called. And even stuff that turns out, okay, that doesn't work. I'm just curious, is that an issue that people discuss or not? Because people need to unlearn. I need to unlearn what I learned 50, 60 years ago. Maybe one day ago, I need to unlearn now. So is that something that people discuss at all in this world of AI?
They
I
could
think that's
create legacy, right? Otherwise, and
yeah.
some kind of unlearning in legacy. Yeah.
I think that's a really good question. Yeah, I think there will be a lot of this in
I
front
mean,
of us, but yeah.
You also mentioned the bias towards gender and other stuff. So, I mean, that needs to be unlearned for sure, but it is
Exactly.
not. It needs to be unlearned, but it will not. We know that. So I'm
Yeah.
just thinking now into the domain that I'm also I'm also a software developer at et cetera. So lots of stuff there needed to be unlearned, but okay, it was just philosophical.
If
Yeah,
if I can
yeah.
provide a quick answer, because I talked to Joe as well, and the way Lee set it up and also how we copied it to a few mob AI teams have been to basically, so beyond using the AI, we're actually also training the AI a lot. So a lot of the work on if a team comes in and work is actually to write context, what happened, and data into the system and teach the AI. And they were very rigid about having mainly best practices and good practices and inform it with well-informed things and not with the errors. I never understood fully why, but it's kind of the guidelines we follow at least, but it might be a good idea to understand why, because why can we not use the bad experience as well for other things or the de-learning things to show what we should not do and then learn from that, you know? But just to say that's at least been the guides we set up so far, just to give a example.
Mm.
And it could create bureaucracy again, I would think.
Oh yes. Don't mention the war.
Yes, but did you have a question?
Yeah, Maarit, thank you a lot for this amazing thinking, and also nice to see the mob AI parts. What I know with both Tesla and also with Spotify and other organization, which is kind of contrasted to PI planning and safe, is that they modularized all the elements. So basically,
Yes.
you could cut up teams and work only on
Yes.
modules because there are no dependencies. So any
Yes.
thoughts to that in relation to the
Yes, absolutely. This is part of the thing. So I left it out because of the time reason. So I thought that I can't cover, because I have a lot of material, actually a whole training about this architecture decoupling. But I thought that it's too much to
fair.
cover. So I thought maybe I should put that one slide, but then I left that out too because I thought that okay, it's too long presentation anyway. So, but yes, it's on basis of all of this. So decoupling and managing the dependencies, and I think that's a big challenge for traditional organizations. So we started to do PI planning because many of these dependencies were slowing us down, and now we need to learn to decouple, and we need to kind of like modularize also kind of on the hardware side as well. So it's a very big thing, and it's a very painful transformation.
Yeah, have you seen? I'm just thinking maybe there's potential for AI to help out there, so that we
Yes.
don't have to decouple in the same level, but that AI can actually support some of that cross dependency work. Because if we could start removing those or reducing those, that would be huge, right?
Yeah, it was actually one slide earlier. This managing dependencies was
Okay.
mentioned in the PO and Scrum Master slide briefly, but I didn't
Yeah.
spend time on. Well, it's here somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
Did I remove it?
It's terrible. We've reached the end of our hour.
Yeah.
Maarit, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the thorough perspective on the PI planning, and then you threw in a lot of details on how things are going. What's the sort of one thought you had in the lines of all of this on the PI planning thing? I mean, is it still gonna stay? There's this old saying that you can only do safe if you are doing PI planning. It's been almost like the most iconic event. Is that still how it's gonna stay, or will there be other things evolving to somehow relieve that unique status?
So this is interesting thing. So when I look at what is happening in the safe community, there is an AI native trainings coming, but those are separate to safe trainings. And then safe trainings are getting AI components, but safe framework hasn't still been largely impacted by this AI transformation. So it's interesting to see what will happen there. So good questions, Morten. But I really would like to work on helping the organizations to get in the future, and this is kind of what I've been working on with Joe on providing this kind of guidance for free for organizations and providing also Mob AI as an open source.
Yeah. Then just before we end, there's a question I ask all speakers in Agility Lab. Is there anything we can do for you?
Oh, that's a nice question. Maybe we can go, Morten, to have a cup of coffee someday.
That's a deal. I'm there actually in Finland between Christmas and New Year's Eve if you're
That
around.
would be nice. Yeah.
I'll ping you. Maarit, thank you so much. Really appreciate that you took your time. There was a question from Pete before he left. Will you share the material?
Yes, absolutely. I can share it, and I can also share this white paper.
Perfect. I prefer links, but if you want, you can also just send the full package.
Yeah, okay. Let's see how we can share it.
Maarit,
Thank you for your interest.
Maarit, we are connected already, so I'll get in touch with you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for today.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
You too.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.